How you doing, Bobby Dirkens here? Thanks so much for joining me for my preview of the Miami at North Carolina game for this weekend. I believe it's September the 7th. Thanks so much for joining me here, Bobby Dirkens. If you don't know me, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. Over the past weekend, some crazy things happened in college football. Now, Miami, for instance, had already played their embarrassing game and lost to Florida 24-20. But over the annals of this weekend, other teams decided to embarrass themselves as well. With that said, the North Carolina Tar Heels gave me one of the greatest gifts I've received in quite a while. Watching them coming off of a 2-9 season beat a South Carolina team who, if one thing their name truly is, cocky. But they're cocky about nothing. And they did it. And let me tell you what happened. North Carolina beat them up in Charlotte, beating them after being down 20-9 with a true freshman quarterback, Sam Howell. Now, the interesting with the scores there is that Florida beat Miami 24-20, and North Carolina beat South Carolina 24-20. Coincidence? I think so. Let's go ahead and jump into this. And first of all, I got a bunch of you saying May there to me. I got Prince 6'1" on here, May there. I'm telling you, buddy, I'm looking so forward to that Florida State game in a couple of weeks. Lord, I'm about to shake. I got a bunch on here. Got George, got a ton of people, college football, that's it really. A ton of you on here. Robert Zura, got Charles Elliott saying May there to you. I thank y'all for joining me. Thank y'all for joining me. But I'm going to dive right in. Miami has had their woes over the years. We're talking about a team with tons of tradition, outrageous football representation in the NFL. They're lying there in the hotbed of South Florida's recruiting system, yet they've continued to struggle. Manny Diaz, won't say Danny. Danny Diaz, that'd be weird. Be easy to get his initials on the belt. But no, Manny Diaz takes over. Interesting thing about this, Manny Diaz was also the defensive coordinator for Mac Brown when they were at Texas. That was the very last year, listen to me, very last year that Mac Brown was there as well. He did relieve Manny Diaz as the... He relieved him as the defensive coordinator after, well, they gave up like 500 yards rushing to BYU. So, love lost? No. Let's talk about the players who's playing for them now. We know the trash bin that North Carolina's been at football. Mac Brown being hired, even though I like Mac Brown, I was like, he's 70, he's been on TV for years. I don't know why you hired him. And then he goes out and he does what he did. I mean, I'm going to have to tell you, even though that was against South Carolina, South Carolina's got a whole lot more things. They have, the coaching staff's been there longer. The quarterback was senior. All this bunch of stuff. It pointed to a South Carolina win. Of course, South Carolina, being the good morons they are, lost the game as they always do. Talk about the players that'll be playing in this game. Starting off with, and once again, this is going to be in Chapel Hill. This is Saturday night. It's going to be 8 p.m. on the ACC network. Miami, by the way, is a 5.5-point favorite as of today. Starting with Miami's quarterback, Jaron Williams. Now, it could easily have been Tate Martell, but Jaron Williams. He was 19 of 30, threw for 214 yards and a touchdown against Florida. I'll also have to say that Miami gave up 10 sacks against Florida. Think about that later. Sam Howell, youngin' who passed for over 17,000 yards in high school. Did you hear that? Could you help me out, please, sir? Did you hear that? Yes. And I also found this out about him. In his high school career, he actually rushed for almost 3,600 yards and 60 touchdowns. So the youngin can run. Now, this past week, just a few days ago, he was 15 of 24, 245 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not too shabby for a kid who was just named the starter. Rushing. I said rushing, not rushing. There's no collusion here. DJ Dallas. We know DJ Dallas. I tell you right now, he looks like one of those old Miami players. One of those guys who's just head and shoulders above everybody. When he runs the ball, I don't care what play they called, DJ Dallas looked ridiculous. Very talented. 11 carries, 94 yards, touchdown. You also, you can't forget Cameron Harris. That will be running for Miami as well. He had a big season last year. On the other side of the ball, you have Javonte Williams from North Carolina. He rushed 18 carries, 102 yards. Also remember Michael Carter. He had about, 75, 80 yards running on the ground as well. Receiving. I think one of the most talented receivers in the country, and he's young. I want to say he's out from Las Vegas, one of the top receivers coming out of the country, was tight end Brevin Jordan from Miami. Another one of those guys that he looks like the old Miami type of player that you think of when you think of Miami. You don't think about all this other stuff that's went on when you look at guys like Brevin Jordan and DJ Dallas. Daz Newsome. When I saw his name, Daz Newsome, to be quite honest, first thought I had was D's nuts. I don't know why, but I did laugh. Daz Newsome, he had 4 receptions, 74 yards in the win against South Carolina. Very talented young man. Jump into the defense here. Let's talk about who gave up what when they played. Now, Miami against Florida could be they're a better team than South Carolina. They're not head and shoulders, but they are better than South Carolina because South Carolina's a dumpster fire. Miami allowed 304 total yards. Miami gave up 254 passing, and they gave up 50 yards rushing. So they're a little more stingy on the run. UNC gave up 270 yards total, 142 passing, and 128 on the ground. Let's talk about the defense. Now, between me and you, here's between me. Oh, no, whoa! Somebody just hey, Chase Duncan just gave me a $20 super chat. Hey! He said that's for Hulu. I'm going to use it for beer. Thank you, Chase. Man, that to you. Thank you. They wouldn't take my man card. I'd bust out crying. Shh. Lord, good to see you. Thank you so much. $20. Whole $20. That's good. I buy a lot of my beer with that. $20. Thank you so much, Chase. Lord be with you. Hopefully your children will not be born naked. Thank you. It says, love the show, brother. Well, I'm loving that you love the show so much that you would buy me a whole day's worth of beer. Thank you so much. Daniel Foster says, my favorite Clemson channel. Flattery will get you everywhere here. Let's talk about the defense. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know much about North Carolina's defense. I ain't going to sit here and try to make it up. I mean, I do see where they got 7 of their players coming back this season. I mean, I know about guys like Ross and Morris and Strawbridge, and there's some talent there, but let's just be honest with ourselves, okay? We know names, especially on the Miami side. We know Quarterman. Quarterman is one of the best defensive players in all of college football. He's talented. He's smart. He's huge. He can move. He has that look. That's the thing about Miami. There's players here and there, and I give Miami crap all the time. And I know the Wholesome Holloway, he's not on here right now that I know of, but I like him. I like him. He's like, why you give my boys such a hard time? It's fun. But I like him. But I'm telling you, there's players like Jordan, DJ Dallas, definitely Quarterman. They look like the old Miami. That's why it's easier to start going, I believe they're on the corner of coming back. And then they blow it to Florida. I mean, Pinckney, Garvin, these guys are talented guys. Pinckney especially, very, very talented. So where does that leave us on Saturday? Mack Brown's first game back in Chapel Hill. Second game overall, coming off of a world of emotion. So what happens? To me, this game is really going to come down to the freshman quarterbacks. Now, we all know that this Jaron Williams is redshirt freshman. So he's been there a year, but he only was a starting man this year. One game. One of the most undisciplined games on either side of the football of Florida, the Florida-Miami game. And for me and you, between me and you, not to just keep kicking a dead horse, though, sometimes when those old hollow bones of the horse kind of has this vibration sound, it's kind of fun to kick them again. At least Miami wasn't ranked number 8. Like Florida was. And shouldn't have been. But I believe it comes down to the quarterback. And whichever quarterback plays better and whichever line can protect a little better. Because I'm going to tell you, I went online on the world of the internet. And the major concern for this game also is whether Miami can protect Jaron Williams. Can they do it? Because here's what I believe. If they don't protect him, North Carolina's going to get their next win. And Miami is going to be staring down 0-2. But I believe it's going to be the Miami defense that makes this difficult on a true freshman, Sam Howell. Namely, guys like Quarterman, Pinckney. Those talents, NFL talents. The passes hit out to Brevin Jordan. The running of DJ Dallas and Cameron, and I got to look at his name, I keep forgetting it, Cameron Harris. Between those two, I just think, and that North Carolina's coming off a very, very emotional win. For such reason, I mean, all the way coming down to Mack Brown being back, coming off a 2-9 season. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I believe Miami definitely squeaks this one out. Definitely squeaks this one out by a score of 28-23. Well, everybody, I'm going to let you go. If I'm wrong, oh well. Clemson's going to win the national championship anyway. I'm fine. Y'all, I thank you so much. Chase, thank you so much for that $20 I want to say Snapchat, but Super Chat. Michael Brown's on here, May there. I saw Clemson Jacob May there. See Uncle Luke May there. Uncle Luke, don't be mad at me for saying that. I'm actually kind of pulling for you. But yeah. Everybody, thank you so much for joining me. Hit the subscribe button. I'm almost to 3,000 subscribers, and it is just blowing me away. I can't believe it. A year ago at this time, I had about 1,000 subscribers. Now I'm sitting at almost 1,000. Or sitting at 3,000, excuse me. Thank you so much, everybody that's been subscribing. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know that other guys, he come on here, and he looks like me. He calls himself Real Bobby Dirkens. We know who the real Bobby Dirkens is. Well, I sure do appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Hit the subscribe button. Turn on notifications. Let everybody know right down to your granny about me. I appreciate it. Remember, I'm Bobby Dirkens. You keep showing up. Lord knows I'll keep showing out. Bobby Dirkens.